Have you ever thought about the ultimate road trip? I mean, a highway that could take you from the icy expanses of Alaska all the way down to the southernmost tip of Argentina. A single road uniting two entire continents. Well, that road pretty much exists. It's the Pan American Highway. But there's a catch. It's not quite complete. There is one single notorious break in that massive chain.
That's right. You're looking at a road that stretches for nearly 19,000 miles. But for about 60 miles between Panama and Colombia, the asphalt just vanishes. It completely disappears. It's this void on the map, a patch of green where the modern world literally hits a dead end. And that place is called the Darien Gap.
And that right there is the big mystery we're diving into. I mean, we live in an age where we can tunnel through the Alps and build bridges across huge stretches of ocean. So why does this one relatively small piece of land remain completely untamed? Is it just that nature is too powerful here? Or is there something else going on? Let's get into it.
Now, at first glance, the answer seems pretty obvious. The Darien Gap is just an absolute beast. It's a landscape that feels almost mythical, like nature's own fortress, designed to keep people out.
I mean, just try to picture it. This is a place with no roads, no bridges, not a single power line. It's a brutal mix of pure swampland and incredibly steep mountain ridges that shoot up over 6,000 feet. You've got hundreds of rivers carving up the terrain and this massive, tangled marsh called the Atrato River Delta. It's like stepping back into a prehistoric world.
And then there's the rain. Oh my gosh, the rain. Some parts of the gap get slammed with up to 300 inches of rain a year. To put that in perspective, that is almost 25 feet of water falling from the sky. The ground isn't just damp, it's permanently saturated, which makes it totally unstable for any kind of major construction. A road could literally just wash away.
And all this wildness supports an incredible amount of life. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site for a reason. It's home to animals like jaguars and these huge, powerful harpy eagles. And scientists are pretty sure there are countless species of plants and insects in there that we haven't even discovered yet. It really is one of the last truly wild places on Earth.
So, okay, case closed, right? The jungle's just too tough. Nobody could ever build a road through that. Well, not so fast, because things get really interesting when you start to stack up this challenge against some other massive projects humanity has already pulled off.
So you think, swamps and mountains? Well, just a few hundred miles away, we carved the Panama Canal through a jungle riddled with malaria. You say, dense rainforest. Well, we've already built a trans-Amazonian highway straight through the heart of the Amazon. We've drilled tunnels through the Alps, we've laid down railways on frozen permafrost in Tibet, we have literally blown up mountainsides to build roads.
And this is really the key question, isn't it? When you look at what we're capable of, the argument that the Darien is just too hard from an engineering standpoint, it starts to fall apart. It kind of suggests that the real obstacle, the real reason the road isn't there, isn't physical at all.
And that's when you get to the heart of the story. The gap in the Pan American Highway isn't some accident of geography. It's the result of history, of economics, and of politics. It was then, and it still is now, a very deliberate choice.
So, to understand that choice, we need to jump in our time machine. Because the story of the Darien Gap is really all tangled up with his grand vision for the Americas, and one very critical decision made by the United States that changed everything.
The dream actually started way back in the late 1800s. But back then, it was for a railway. By the middle of the 20th century, though, President Franklin Roosevelt was all in on the idea of a highway, a way to connect the Americas, boost trade, and improve diplomacy. And it was happening. The vision was there, routes were being surveyed, money was set aside, the road was coming. And then, bam, the U.S. Department of Agriculture stepped in and brought the whole project to a grinding halt.
So what was their reason? It sounds kind of random, but it was powerful. Disease. Specifically, something called foot and mouth disease. Now, this virus is absolutely devastating for animals like cattle and pigs, and back then, it was all over South America. The USDA was terrified that construction equipment, caked in contaminated mud, which is drive the disease right across the gap into North America.
And that became the official U.S. policy. First and foremost, it was about protecting the American beef and pork industry, which today is worth hundreds of billions of dollars. An outbreak would be a total economic disaster. Then later, a second reason got tacked on: security. The fear was that a paved road would basically become a superhighway for drug traffickers and cartels to move their product north. So the decision was made: keep the gap wild.
And
in a way, that policy worked. It definitely stopped the road from being built. But it completely failed to stop people from moving. In fact, what it created was something else entirely, a new, unofficial, and far, far more dangerous kind of highway.
Just look at this number. It's staggering. In 2023 alone, more than 500,000 people crossed the Darien Gap on foot. These are migrants from all over the world heading north, forced to walk through one of the most hostile environments on the planet because there is no safe official way to cross.
And this is the great tragic irony of this entire story. The policy that was designed to block cartels and improve security did the exact opposite. It created a lawless, unmonitored corridor that criminal organizations now have complete control over, and they've turned human desperation into a very profitable and very deadly business.
And this isn't just some rough trail through the woods. The cartels have created this twisted kind of service industry. They offer boat rides, they have guides for the treks, they've even put up ropes and stairs in the most dangerous places. They sell Wi-Fi access in the middle of the jungle. They even advertise their routes on social media. They've turned this life-or-death journey into a commercial product, with terrible consequences for anyone who can't pay their fees or keep up.
Okay, so let's put all these pieces together. You have the wild jungle, you have this decades-old policy, and you have today's massive humanitarian crises. These are not separate things. They are all directly connected.
So here's the real takeaway. The Darien Gap, as we think of it, this impenetrable, wild place, it's not a natural accident. Its wildness is actively maintained. It is the direct consequence of a policy choice made decades ago to keep the Americas physically separated by a road. Which leaves us with a really tough question, right? The original reasons for keeping the gap were to stop disease and improve security. But today, the gap itself is the source of a massive, out-of-control humanitarian and security crisis. So you really have to ask, is a policy that was created in the middle of the 20th century still the right answer for the enormous challenges we're facing in the 21st?